friends, I thought I would sit down today and do a little bit of a life update. I shared in my community tab over a week or so ago that I don't even remember, time has just completely clumped together into one gigantic blur, and it's really hard for me to keep track of the time. But I shared that my brother, who was fighting cancer, did pass away. He passed away on the 13th of September, so a little over a week ago. I'm filming this on Monday, September 21st. I had to look in the calendar. I can never keep track of time, I'm telling you. So yeah, today's the 21st of September. He passed away on the 13th of September. I took that entire week off from uploading videos. It was just, I didn't work last week. I took the week off of work. It was all just a blur of family coming in, a lot of visitors, getting my dad's house cleaned up and ready for company. We had a lot of family from out of town that came, and it was just a blur of preparing for the funeral and just everything that goes into a death. The funeral was on Saturday, the 19th, and it was really a beautiful day. I had been dreading it all week. I had a lot of anxiety that morning, and the day just turned out to be a really beautiful day. And I know that might be a really weird word to use to describe a funeral, but it was just, God just granted peace to me and made the day so perfect. Things were different than when we had the funeral for my mom because of, you know, what's going on, the big C word that we don't mention, the word that we do not mention. So instead of having a separate day for viewing, we had the viewing on the same day as the funeral, and then there was no meal afterwards. The church did not provide a meal, but it all came together. I got to see a lot of family. A lot of family came in that I haven't seen in years, actually. And it's just so nice. It's so nice to see family. And I told them, it's like, let's not wait till there's another death in the family to come and see each other. Because some of our family members don't even live that far away. It's just, you can hear my parakeet, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But there's, you know, life gets in the way, and you just, time goes by and you don't realize it's been years since you've seen somebody. So it was really nice to see family. The service was beautiful. My brother loved Jesus, and so we know he's in heaven with my mom. And you know, the Bible says that people who die in Christ and their loved ones who are Christians, we grieve, but we grieve in a different way. We don't grieve as if there's no hope. And his funeral was just full of hope for the future of, you know, we know where he's at. We'll get to see him again someday, as well as my mom. We'll get to see my mom again someday. And it's not that we don't hurt and we don't grieve and we don't have sadness and we don't have tears, and it's not like we can just go on with our life as if he didn't pass away. There's still that aspect of missing him, and sometimes you have regret for things that were left unsaid, or, you know, there's just still the grieving process, even though we know where he's at and we will see him again someday. So the service was beautiful. The flowers were gorgeous. And when we were at the cemetery, I asked a few family members, and like, do you think it would be really weird if I took a couple pictures of the flowers? I said, because they're just going to be left here at the grave and they're going to die. They're going to get frosted or whatever. And they were so beautiful. So everybody said, sure, go ahead. So I felt a little strange, but I took a couple of pictures, and I will insert those here. So yeah, the florist just did a beautiful job on those flowers. They were all, I think the reason I thought they were so gorgeous is because they're in my favorite tones. I love the fall colors, and they just did a really beautiful job on the flowers. The weather was gorgeous. We had beautiful blue skies. The air was a little bit cool. It was just like a perfect fall day. Our leaves on our trees have not yet started to turn, but you can kind of tell that they're like on the verge of starting to turn. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful day as far as the weather goes. I was thinking in the car ride from the church to the cemetery that if my brother was still alive, this would be a day where he'd be out hunting, or he'd be out practice shooting. He loved to practice shoot, or he'd be out mowing the lawn. He'd be doing something outside because the weather was just perfect. And then because the church was not going to provide a funeral dinner, a family friend just out of the blue, like within a day, he pulled this together and he prepared like a cookout type meal for the family, and we all gathered back to my dad's house. My brother had put up canopies, and we had tables and chairs, and we basically sat outside, and they started a campfire, and it was mostly family. There were a few friends that came too, but it was mostly family. And I told my dad later that, or told some family members later, that it felt more like a family reunion than it did a funeral dinner. And I posted something about that on my Facebook page, kind of a eulogy tribute to my brother and about the day. And so, and all of that anxiety I felt that morning just faded away. It just faded away, and I felt at peace all day long. And there were still tears. I still feel sad. And in fact, Sunday, the day after the funeral, I felt more like you had this giant crash, like this emotional crash, and I felt really out of sorts yesterday, kind of restless and out of sorts. And today I'm feeling more sadness a little bit over it. And I know it's a grieving process, and it will take time for you never get over it. You know, people say, oh, you need to get over it. Well, you never do. You never get over the death of a loved one, but you do get past it, and you learn a new normal, and life does go on. And I know my brother wouldn't want me to wallow in grief, so I am trying to pick myself up and brush myself off and continue on with life as normal as I can. And that brings me into the next part of this, is about my channel. This video you will have seen yesterday. You will have seen my $5 Goodwill Challenge video, and then I'm going to upload this video, and then the next several videos after this one will be videos that I filmed several weeks ago before my brother died, and everything kind of got put on hold, and I didn't feel like I could upload. There's several videos down there I've footage of. I haven't even edited them yet, but I'll probably finish out the month of September with older videos. Of course, they'll be new to you, and they're not too terribly old. They're within a couple of weeks. Like, they were filmed the end of August, first part of September, so they're not terribly out of date. Friday, you will see my grocery haul that's been filmed and edited and sitting in my queue for all this time. It's actually my beginning of September grocery haul, but I'm going to go ahead and show that to you. I know you guys like grocery hauls, and so I'm going to go ahead and show that. It's because it's ready to go, so I'm going to do that. And then I think, at least for the foreseeable future, I'm going to continue the Wednesday, Friday uploads and not upload on Mondays. Just with my work schedule and now extra responsibilities at my dad's house, it's just going to be too difficult to try to do 3 videos a week. So I'm going to try to do twice a week. Sometimes it may be only once a week, but that's just kind of my tentative schedule for that. A couple of other updates. Oh, last week was a week, I tell ya. On top of preparing for my brother's funeral, the death of my brother, and the preparations for his funeral, the extra company, all those things I talked about, one of my Khaki Campbell, I had 2 Khaki Campbell ducks left, and I have 4 Pekin ducks left. If you've seen any of my previous videos, I have 4 white ducks, which are my Pekins, and then I had 2 brownish ducks, which were my Khaki Campbell ducks. One day, I don't even remember what day it was after my brother died. I don't know. Or maybe it was the day my brother died. But it was early last week. Travis came in from doing morning chores and told me that the Khaki Campbell Drake was dead. He died of an accident. He had gotten his head caught in the fencing, which we've had that fencing up there for years, all these years, and they've never got their head caught. They've never even attempted to put their head through the fence. But for some reason, he decided he was going to stick his head through the fence, got himself caught, and died. Choked himself, broke his neck, something. I don't know. So that made me sad, and I was more sad for the hen that was left, because I had a pair. I had a hen and a drake left. And they stuck together because they were like a bonded pair. I don't know if ducks bond for life, but they were a bonded pair, and they were a male and female. And so anyway, I felt sorry for her. And that female, my hen, pined herself to death. She sorrowed herself. She was sorrowing over the death of her mate, and she died. She died about a week later. I think the drake died last Sunday, and the hen died yesterday. And so I've lost 2 ducks this week. Also, in some of my grocery hauls, whenever I would buy bird seed for my birds, I would mention I have 1 finch and 1 parakeet left, and they were downstairs. Well, my finch died this past week as well. So then all I had left was my parakeet downstairs, and I thought, I don't want to leave her downstairs all by herself. She doesn't even have a finch friend, because I had their cages like right next to each other, and so she would have been completely by herself. So the day my finch died, I cleaned up all the bird mess downstairs, cleaned the cage real good, and I brought my parakeet, Banana. Her name is Banana, my last living parakeet. I used to have a whole aviary full of parakeets, and just one by one over time they've died, and I haven't replaced them. And so she's my last remaining parakeet. So I brought her upstairs, and I also had mentioned in the past that once these 2 birds died, I probably wouldn't get any more birds because I'm just like kind of over it. But I think I've changed my mind about that since having her up here. I've really enjoyed watching her, because always before, you know, I would take care of her, but I really wouldn't spend a whole lot of time, because I don't spend a lot of time downstairs, especially during the day. I'd go down at night, and by that time she was sleeping. So having her up here has really been fun. And I don't know how much longer she has to live. She's pretty old. She's probably at least 7 years old. But once she does pass away, I think I will get another bird. I'm not exactly sure what I'll get, but it's only going to be 1 bird, not an aviary full of birds. And it'll be kept upstairs where I can enjoy and spend time with them. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll turn the camera around and I'll show her, and also show you a plant that my boss sent to the funeral, and she had put on the card that she wanted it to come to me. So I'll show you that. So here's Banana. And I got her right in front of the window, but I know that when winter gets here, I'm going to have to move her because it gets kind of cold at those windows. But She was kind of freaked out when I first brought her up, but I mean within a couple of hours, she started singing and singing and singing, and she has just loved being up here. She'll sit and she'll look out the window, and I've got these two plants like right beside her cage, so they're not close enough that she can actually like chew on the leaves, but it makes her feel like she's in the woods or something. But she's just, her personality has come out, and I hand raised her. One of my, like I said, I had a bunch of parakeets, and I had a couple of different bonded pairs, and I raised parakeets for a while. I sold a few, and I raised her by hand, but ever since, I mean, even though she was hand raised, she does not like to be handled. She never has. Even when she was a baby, she'd just like feed me, leave me alone. So that's kind of her personality. So I don't push it. I don't hold her. I don't stick my hands in the cage too often. But yeah, she has a lot to say, and I've really enjoyed her. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She really is. And then this is the plant. It's kind of dark. Let me turn on the light. This is the plant that my boss sent to the funeral. It's got faux floral, like fall leaves stuck down in it, which I think is really pretty. But it's a peace lily. And so I've got this peace lily from my brother Doug's funeral, and then this one, which needs water, was from my mom's funeral. And it's 4 years, so obviously this one's 4 years old, 4.5. And I noticed that the leaves are a different color. So I don't know if it's just because this plant's older, maybe it's a little bit of a different variety, or the fact that I know they polished these leaves. These have been polished because they're so shiny. But next spring I'm going to transplant. I'm going to get a different pot, a bigger pot, and I'm going to transplant this one in a bigger pot, one that's that size. And then I'm going to take that pot and put this peace lily in it. Right now it's in a wicker basket, and it's got like an insert, like a plant insert inside there. And I know from experience that if I water this plant, the water will come out through that basket. So in the next day or two, I'm going to take it out of that basket, and I'm going to put like some sort of a tray to catch the water underneath the plant. But this is not the right time of year to find potting soil and pots and stuff like that. So they'll stay in this pot. This one will stay in this pot until spring, when I can get a bigger pot, or get some potting soil in a bigger pot and stuff. So, but yeah, thought that was really sweet of my boss to do that. Another thing I wanted to share was yesterday I went back over to the cemetery because, like I said, the flowers were just gorgeous, and I thought they're just laying there and they're gonna just die. And so I went back over and I collected some of the flowers that were still really pretty, and I brought them home, and I made an arrangement that I can enjoy. I mean, because I think God made flowers for people to enjoy, and I wanted to enjoy them. I didn't want them to just sit over there on his grave and just die, so without being enjoyed. So I brought them over, and let me show you what I collected. They had a big thing that went across the casket, and in the ribbon it said son, and then on either end of the casket they had one that said brother and one that said uncle. And because my brother Doug never married, he didn't have any children of his own, but he was a wonderful brother, and he was a wonderful son and a wonderful uncle. So I went ahead and got the ribbon that said brother. It was still sitting there at the graveside in the flowers, and I got the one that said uncle, and I gave the uncle one to Olivia. But these are just some. There was a ton of flowers that were still really pretty, but I gathered up enough to fill my biggest vase that I had, and I made this little arrangement, and I just think they're so gorgeous. I don't know what these little berries are, I hope they dry nice because I really like them. But anyway, so many beautiful roses and the sunflowers and the mums, and oh, just absolutely beautiful. The carnations, and yeah, the lilies. Look at these lilies, so pretty. And the last thing I wanted to talk about before I get off of here, because this has been kind of a rambly video, rambly update video, my Trim Healthy Mama journey. I found out something about myself that I probably already knew, but under times of intense stress, I crave sugar like crazy. And yeah, the last 2 weeks have been bad as far as that. I have not done Trim Healthy Mama at all. I have gotten myself addicted to Olivia's cockatiel. She left the room and so he pitched a fit. Anyway, I've got myself addicted to sugar again. Oh. But yesterday, you know, sugar doesn't for the moment, it makes me feel better, and then I crash so bad after sugar. So I told myself yesterday, I'm gonna give myself one more day, and then I am back on the Trim Healthy Mama wagon again, because I feel so much better when I am not on the sugar. I have a little bit of ice cream, of dairy-free ice cream left in the freezer. I'm going to finish that today because it's so good. I could just let Olivia eat it, but it's so good, and I'm going to have it one more day of sugar, and then I'm done. And so hopefully it won't take me as long to get off of sugar this time as it did the last time, because I haven't been back on it. I've only been back on sugar for a couple of weeks. So anyway, there's that. So if you see any sugary stuff in the oh, my head is not thinking. The grocery haul that you're going to see on Friday, if you see sugary stuff in that, you can be assured that I ate it. I don't think I intended to eat it when I bought it, but I did. And I do feel bad about it, but it's like, you know what? I can't beat myself up. It is what it is, and at least I'm not going for months and months and months regressing back to eating sugar. Like I said, I'm going to finish that ice cream off today, and that's going to be it. I'm going to be done. No more sugar again. Cold turkey. Cold turkey. No more sugar. All right, friends. I just wanted to, like I said, I wanted to take this time to update you about what's going on. It's been rough. It has been rough. I appreciate all your prayers. I know you guys have sent your sympathy to me, and I do really appreciate it. It was very sudden, very unexpected, and it still doesn't quite seem real that he's gone. So it's going to be a process. I know that, and I'm just glad I have you guys here to be my friend and to support me through it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.